Hi, my friends, and thank you for joining me for this 2022 ministry update for Faith and Real Life, Let Me Be Ministries, or as we're known by our legal entity, LMBM. Maybe you've always figured that out, that LMBM stood for Let Me Be Ministries. And the Faith and Real Life front end extension that we put on the name is to just help people know what type of ministry, mission, or message that we share. How do we help people see where God is at work in their life day in and day out, regardless of if they set foot inside a church building or not? And so our work here coming up to 2023 has become more important than ever. It's a very different church than what people knew 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or even 3 years ago. This is a church where people expect to learn at a time when they desire to learn. A hybrid church, a church that meets people out in the world where they are and that they're not always just learning about God when they step foot inside a building. So a ministry like ours becomes vital to help lead people back to faith communities so that we all continue to journey together. We need one another in good times and in bad. So as you see the work that we're up to, you will see the goals that we have set, the processes we're putting in place to meet those goals, and even what we need from you in order to help continue this extremely important work that we do as a ministry. And dare I say, it's more important than ever. And so thank you for joining me again as we get ready to look at our 2022 ministry update to take us from where we've been, looking at a future filled with hope of amazing things ahead. It is very difficult to quantify or put a value directly on any type of ministry working to change lives by preventing issues in a person's life before they ever happen. In other words, it's impossible to measure the results of a problem that has never materialized to begin with. However, preventative ministry through faith-based inspiration is exactly what Faith and Real Life Let Me Be Ministries offers to many people each year. We want to reach others before they need specific services for crisis intervention. The power of our ministry is that we are out in the world as missionaries, sharing a message of God's love with individuals before addiction takes hold, helping bring God into a marriage before it ends in divorce, reaching out to those in need so hope can be found prior to depression taking an ultimate toll. During this time in history, when more people have walked away from institutional religion and the churches we worship in, it has become essential for us to not only share faith with others, but to help lead them back to faith communities in order to be the church for one another. There is a critical need for our churches to collaborate with LMBM to help meet the needs of those who don't understand why they believe what they believe. It's where faith and real life come together. As I look back on this last year, I see amazing progress. We've pivoted as an organization to reach people during this unprecedented period in our generation. We've had to make bold choices, take action, put in the extra work and resources to make these changes. And I am confidently proud of where we are and all we're working to move into this year. I also ask that you join me in a moment of thanksgiving for the book Where Faith and Real Life Come Together. November of this year, we celebrated 10 years since this book was first published, and it has changed countless lives, and we are grateful for everyone who has been moved by it and those who have been able to make changes in their life because of it. An overview of Trilogy Retreat Property. In May of 2021, LMBM Inc. became the owners of the retreat property we call Trilogy. Here's a little of our backstory. The timeline. Our initial timeline takes us back to July of 2017 when we first began to search for properties. A vision of opening a ministry retreat property earlier in 2017 led to looking at dozens of properties for nearly 4 years, from vacant land to family estates, all opportunities were explored. In June of 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, our financing process began. Searching for a lender is never easy, especially when the SBA is closed down during a worldwide pandemic. The entire process lasted 5 months and included 18 banks. In February of 2021, our purchase offer was accepted for the property that we call Trilogy. After 3 other attempts to purchase homes for sale, on February 23, 2021, our offer was accepted for the house and 24 acres of land that is now Trilogy Retreat property in Southington, Ohio. In May of that same year, 2021, we began our initial move-in and updates to the property and home. Move-in began the 3rd week of May 2021. Over time, we furnished the interior, added 75 yards of mulch, painted the exterior, and transformed our guest rooms and the guest house. November of 2021, we celebrated our grand opening event. Originally scheduled for October, COVID delayed our official grand opening 1 month. We continue to add value, comfort, and experiences at Trilogy for all of our retreat guests. Often we're asked, why open a retreat house? The first response is, for several years, God continued to place the need on our hearts, calling us forth to answer a call. Since then, we have seen a strong need for people to have a third place, a trusted space, bridging the gap between home and church, or work and personal time. Additionally, we wanted to create a quality, comfortable experience that invites people who wouldn't go on a retreat at a, quote, traditional religious retreat house. Since our opening, we've remained faithful to call on the Holy Spirit and the power of God to be an instrument that helps restore the value of family and focus on self-care. We pay attention to every detail of service to help guests feel special and relaxed. All of this opens them up to an encounter that leaves them transformed, or at the very least, on a path leading them closer to God. We would love to serve you, your family, or organization's team. Reservations and more information can be found at www.trilogy.center. Our 5 areas of focus for our 2023 goals are as follows. Number 1, to add additional retreats at Trilogy. These themed retreats and specific reflection days will be added to our calendar and led by various presenters. Those will include couples encounters, personal retreats for mind, body, and soul, and also family faith bonding. Secondly, as a ministry, we look to engage more volunteers to help our ministry. Our ministry work cannot be done solely by our employees. It takes a team of committed volunteers to reach our goals. These volunteers will help us with the different events that we offer. They will share mission and resources with people out in the world to create an awareness of what we do as a ministry. Also, they can help with indoor and outdoor projects here at Trilogy Retreat Property to continue to reach our goals. Our third goal is to expand our outreach as a ministry. We are continually implementing new ways and expounding on current efforts to evangelize as many people as possible. These efforts to expand our outreach will include utilizing our Google AdWords grant to create an awareness on the internet, to increase the activity on social media so we continue to reach as many people as possible on the various platforms, and also a focus on our grassroots efforts. A grassroots effort is anything that grows from within and can begin a movement of people who are all bonded around a common goal. In our case, it's to bring hope through faith. Number 4, we want to broaden our resources as a ministry. This twofold approach gives us a way to focus on a wider range of faith-based topics and the manner in which we share them. This includes a mini book series on why we believe what we believe, an online learning platform where people can learn from the comfort of their home about their faith and also not feel judged by maybe their lack of understanding or where they are currently. Additionally, we will share workbook and journal supplements for resources that already exist. This will help our users go ahead and write more of their own story and see where God is at work in their own life. Lastly, as a ministry, it's necessary that we increase our funding. As the ministry has grown and expanded over the years, so have our related expenses. It is necessary for us to increase our recurring sponsors and donors, those people who donate monthly, quarterly, or annually for us to be able to continue the operations of our ministry and increase the resources that we offer. We will also look to gain access to private foundation grants. These grants will not only help us continue to evangelize out in the world, but will be centered on specific projects or programs for theme-based retreats and information that we need to share. And lastly, missionary-based fundraising. This is the fundraising that we do so that we are able to provide for our families and be paid for the work that we do as missionaries out in the field. These will come through one-time donations and the fundraising that we do while we are in different communities across the country.
Andrea W., an overnight retreat guest at Trilogy, shared this on her evaluation. Thank you all for welcoming me, encouraging me, and praying with me. The weekend was a blessing.
Our 2023 strategy. As we finally return to live in-person events post-shutdown, we are excited about the ways we have expanded our ministry offerings to help people continue to be inspired, as well as share a faith-filled message with others who aren't present. The resources we are creating, coupled with our retreat property, allows us to connect with a wider audience, leading others to Christ. In all of this, our mission remains to serve as an extension of the church, to inspire individuals, encourage community, and restore the value of family. For 13 years, we've helped thousands of people find hope through faith with online and in-person events, digital media, published resources, audio and video, and spiritual direction. Some specific projects we look to expand on this year is our online learning center. Learning and coaching sessions will include videos, course materials, reflection questions, and live sessions for question and answer. The themes and areas of focus will be understanding our faith, the Eucharist, different scripture studies, and how to focus on self-care. Our second area of project focus is the Eucharistic revival happening in the Catholic Church. Utilizing my book, Unconditionally Finding Jesus in the Eucharist, we will expand our resources, teachings, and presentations to assist. This includes book studies, expanded writings on the subject matter, assisting the church in any way necessary, and to help people deepen their prayer life in order to connect with the Eucharist on a personal level. As we get ready to launch a new series of live events, these will be community-based events beyond just the church that is hosting us or the parish where we were invited. These events in churches and at Trilogy go beyond just inviting parishioners, but intentionally welcoming the surrounding communities. Through this, we hope to reach the fallen away, to seek a wider church to be in attendance, to actually look for an overall conversion of souls who will lead and offer their life to Christ. And lastly, to have local involvement so that a community can come together around a common message to continue to help one another in their own personal journey. I'm also excited about our project for mentoring opportunities. We will be offering various sessions at Trilogy with mentors who can help guide others in life skills and faith, helping them to excel in all areas of life. The audience that we will focus these mentoring opportunities on is young adults, couples, caregivers, and bolster leadership training for those who lead in the church and those who might lead a business and desire a faith-based center in order to inspire their employees.
Elizabeth F., an 81-year-old lifetime Catholic, participated in Unconditionally Finding Jesus in the Eucharist book study. Afterwards, she shared with us, "Today, I feel like, for the first time, I've just made my Holy Communion." 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 to 8 state, "Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work."
As I mentioned before, your support of the ministry is vital so that we can continue the all-important work that we have been called by God to do for so many who need it. So we've set up a few different ways to make it easy for you to be able to donate to the ministry. Number one, you can send a check by mail, or you can set up a recurring donation on our online giving platform, or use our website to be able to make a one-time gift. We've also made it possible through our nonprofit organization for you to be able to do a stock transfer. For stock donations and other information related to donor funds and planned giving, please contact us directly for those account details. And as planned giving, maybe it's through employer contributions or through some other foundation that you are aligned with, you can go ahead and mail all donations payable to LMBM Inc., 8584 East Washington Street, Suite 108, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44023. Our tax ID number is 455590090. If you have any questions, you can either email us at admin@lmbminc.org or call us at 833-LET-ME-BE. That's 833-538-6323. Or you can make those donations through the website faithandreallife.com or go through our giving platform directly by going to www.beadonor.com. That's BEEA donor.com.
One of our donors shared the following insight. Over the past decade, the Catholic Church has seen many leave the church. Greg and his ministry are an essential path to bringing the lost sheep home. Supporting LMBM helps strengthen our church by giving us a pathway back to her embrace. As a couple, Alyssa and I understand the importance to financially give to this powerful ministry for them to continue their impactful mission. Jeff S., LMBM supporter.
In our last section, I wanted to take you through some of the numbers that we compiled that we thought you might find interest in or to give you a deeper understanding of the ministry. 58,289. This is the number reached through our social media platforms this year. 1,092. The number of Let Me Be Ministries ministry videos currently available on YouTube. $240,000. That is the amount of revenue lost by the ministry due to the pandemic because we were unable to perform live events and also host fundraisers. 143. That is the number of new visitors that have been to Trilogy Retreat Property this year. The number 1, lives that need to be changed in order for all of this to make a difference. To give you an inside look on what it takes to operate a ministry with a $405,000 budget, we've created a pie chart that shows the different percentages of where our expenses go. 22% of our expenses are related to property and utilities. 6.9% is our marketing budget. 3.7% goes to our ongoing development of our website. The total payroll for all employees at LMBM relative to the annual budget is only 25.2%. This leaves 10.6% of our budget for audio and video production, 3% for donation development, 6.2% for cost relative to our live events, including travel and equipment, and the final 22.5% of our budget is for general operations. As a ministry, we take our role to be good stewards with our finances very seriously. All of our budget expenses and planning are done to provide the best ministry possible, giving God the glory that He deserves through quality ministry.
After a couples retreat weekend at Trilogy, Jeffrey and Michelle shared, "We truly believe God directed this in our lives when we most needed to be restored and to feel His spirit of healing working in our lives. You were His tools to make this happen."
As we look back on this year, there are people that I would like to thank as we wind down this report. Many volunteers and supporters of the ministry spend time each year to make all of what we do possible. The following people have assisted us specifically with meeting our goals in 2022. I'd like to thank our leadership team, Bill and Millie Preble, Bob Reisinger, Rob Schlancer, Jeff Stinson, and Kurt Troy. Other ministry collaborators and contributors, Carrie Ford, Michael Meddy, Millie Preble, and Dominic Russo. A very special thank you to the commitment of our fundraising committee, Jody and Paul Bachman, Kathy and Tom Bondra, Ann and Bill Hosey, Pam McKnight, Libby Peterson, and Amy and Greg Wasinski. A very special thank you goes out to Western Reserve Financial Associates, part of Thrivent Financial, Brian and Stephanie McCarty. This report was printed and donated by Dockman Marketing Group, Todd and Maureen Brickman. Address and contact information for LMBM Inc. is as follows: 8584 East Washington Street, number 108, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44023. Phone number 833-LET-ME-BE. That's 833-538-6323. Our website is faithandreallife.com. Email address info@lmbminc.org. That's lmbminc.org. Tax ID number 455590090. And information for the Trilogy Retreat property can be sent to 4171 U.S. Route 422, Southington, Ohio 44470. Phone number for reservations and informations is the same as LMBM Inc., 833-538-6323. The website address, www.trilogy.center, or email is info@trilogy.center. Friends, I want to thank you again for taking the time to be with me to go through this information. We know that you have the best interest of our ministry at heart and that you support the work that we do. So on behalf of all those who support us, those who volunteer, and those who work day in and day out as part of our staff, we thank you, we give thanks to God, and know that we'll be praying for you in this upcoming year. God bless.